It has been 3 years since the destruction of the Death Star. At Darth Vader's behest, the Imperial fleet launches probe droids across the entire galaxy, looking for the Rebel Alliance, who have moved their base to a remote ice planet called Hoth. Luke Skywalker, the commander, patrols around the base on his Tauntaun, and just as he is about to investigate a meteorite, he is attacked by an indigenous predator called the Wampa, which captures him. On the other hand, Han Solo, the smuggler pilot, announces to his fellow rebels that he intends to leave the Alliance and pay his debt to the gangster Jabba the Hutt, which upsets Princess Leia. When C-3PO, their droid, points out that Luke hasn't returned, Han delays his departure and decides to look for him, despite the gate officer warning him against the temperatures being too dangerous outside. In the next scene, Luke wakes up to find himself hung upside down in the Wampa's cave. He retrieves his lightsaber using the Force, and after freeing himself, he severs the creature's limb. Once he escapes the lair, Luke tries to make his way to the base, but the harsh cold of Hoth makes it impossible. Just as he is lying in the snow about to succumb to hypothermia, the Force spirit of Obi-Wan Kenobi appears in front of him, asking him to become a Jedi Knight under the training of Jedi Master Yoda on the swamp planet Dagobah. Luckily enough, Han discovers Luke and uses his dead Tauntaun's body to prevent Luke from freezing to death by insulating him. The next morning, the rebels search for the two on their ships and rescue them from the wasteland. Back at the rebel base, while Luke is treated for his hypothermia, Han and Chewbacca work on fixing the starship Millennium Falcon. When C-3PO picks up an Imperial code, Han wanders outside with Chewbacca to figure out the source. As they find it to be an Imperial probe droid, they destroy it instantly, but it is too late since it has already transmitted the base's location to the Imperial fleet. Alerted by the signal, Darth orders an immediate attack, while the rebels set up an energy shield and infantry trenches around the base to protect them from the Empire's orbital bombing. When the Empire launches its ground assault using all-terrain walkers, Luke leads his squadron into battle. However, the large-scale attack overpowers the rebels, and the generator powering the energy shield is destroyed. With no other way out, the rebels decide to flee as the base gets seized. Han, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, and C-3PO escape on the Millennium Falcon, but when they are unable to escape the Imperial blockade in space, Han tries to accelerate the Falcon to light speed. This damages the hyperdrive of his ship, and just then they enter a dense asteroid field. Navigating through, Han decides to land in a giant asteroid crater. Inside the asteroid cave, Han and Leia argue about fixing the ship. Amidst the tension, Leia and Han eventually kiss. However, they are forced to escape when they realize that the asteroid cave they were hiding in is actually the inside of a giant space slug living in the asteroid. After another pursuit in space and yet another hyperdrive malfunction, Han heads for the floating Cloud City, a mining colony run by his old friend Lando Calrissian on the gas planet Bespin. On the other hand, Luke escapes Hoth on his X-Wing fighter along with his astro droid R2-D2 and travels to Dagobah, where he crash lands. Once he gains his composure, he discovers a small green creature who introduces himself as the great Jedi Master Yoda. Though reluctant at first, Yoda eventually accepts Luke as his apprentice after discussing with Obi-Wan's spirit and has Luke undergo an extensive series of lessons about the metaphysical nature of the Force. After teaching him to master the light side of the Force and control negative emotions that can lure him to the dark side, Yoda takes him to a cave that is strong with the dark side of the Force. There, Luke battles with an apparition of Darth Vader, which turns out to be Luke's mirror image. Some moments later, Luke has a vision of Han and Leia in distress, so he decides to rescue them. Though Obi-Wan's spirit and Yoda warn him against leaving abruptly mid-training, since his mind is still vulnerable to the powerful temptation of the dark side, Luke promises to return to Dagobah and leaves. Obi-Wan is convinced Luke is their only hope, but Yoda reassures them that there is another. Meanwhile, at Cloud City, Han is unaware that Darth Vader has already called various bounty hunters, including Boba Fett, to find the Falcon. Seemingly, Lando welcomes him and promises to help him fix his ship. However, when they enter the dining hall, they spot Darth Vader, who has his troops capture Han and the others. Lando reveals that he was forced to conspire with the Empire, or his city would have been invaded. In the next scene, Chewbacca and Han are tortured to lure Luke. On Darth's orders, a freezing chamber is prepared to freeze Luke and hold him in suspended animation to transport him to the Emperor. To test it, they decide to freeze Han. As Han is being lowered into the device, Leia expresses her love for him, after which he is frozen in carbonite. The alive but frozen Han is then handed over to Fett, who plans to turn him over to Jabba the Hutt and collect his bounty. In the next scene, Luke finally lands on Cloud City and walks into the carbon-freezing chamber without R2-D2. Once inside, he comes face to face with Darth Vader and engages in combat with him. Meanwhile, as the Imperial troopers are escorting the prisoners, Lando's private security force intervenes and rescues Lando, who in turn sets Leia and Chewbacca free. They try to stop Fett but are just too late as the bounty hunter's ship flies away right in front of their eyes. The group then makes their way toward Falcon while fighting the Sky Troopers. Once aboard, they take off and escape from Cloud City. Meanwhile, Darth and Luke duel with their lightsabers over a narrow platform high above the city's central airshaft. Darth Vader seizes his opportunity and chops off Luke's right hand along with his lightsaber. Since he has Luke cornered and defenseless, Darth Vader invites him to join him on the dark side so they can take down the Emperor together, giving them the ultimate control over the galaxy. Luke accuses him of killing his father, as he had been told by Obi-Wan. This is where Darth Vader reveals that he is Luke's father. Unable to process this information, Luke screams in denial. Refusing to join his father, Luke lets go of the platform and falls into the abyss. However, he is sucked into an air vent and luckily lands on an antenna hanging beneath. He uses the Force to communicate with Leia, who senses his distress and asks Lando to turn around to Cloud City to rescue Luke. They get there just in time and save him. Once they are back in space, they are attacked by twin ion engine fighters, but they manage to escape being captured by Darth Vader's flagship, the Star Destroyer. Everyone assumes the hyperdrive is still damaged, but R2-D2 repairs it by reactivating it at the last minute, which helps the vessel escape. Once the group joins the Rebel fleet, 21B performs surgery on Luke, replacing his missing hand with a robotic prosthesis. Lando and Chewbacca set out in the Falcon to find Han, whereas Luke, Leia, C-3PO, and R2-D2 look outward into the galaxy. With that, the movie ends. Thanks for watching The Empire Strike Back. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you next time. Welcome, sci-fi fans. Futurist Flicks is thrilled to launch our exclusive membership program designed for loyal fans like you. By joining, you'll unlock early access to recap videos, unseen recap videos, raffle prizes, free merch giveaways, exclusive content and behind-the-scenes insights, access to community events, live streams, and Q&A sessions. Join the Cosmic Crew today and get instant access to exclusive perks. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more intergalactic adventures.